So my homeboy Bernie Sanders found himself in some pretty hefty controversy. Now, in an AP interview that is the Associated Press, the headline reads, Sanders says opposing Biden is, quote, irresponsible. Now, what's interesting is the quote that he makes seems to be a little bit different than what a lot of people are sort of construing it as. Um, he said, Sanders said his supporters have a simple choice now that Biden has emerged as a presumptive nominee. Do we be as active as we can in electing Joe Biden and doing everything we can to move Joe and his campaign in a more progressive direction? Or do we choose to sit out and allow the most dangerous president in modern American history to get reelected? He continued, I believe that it's irresponsible for anybody to say, well, I disagree with Joe Biden, and therefore I'm not going to be involved. Now, that's kind of the same thing as everyone's talking about of him saying it's sort of irresponsible not to cast a vote or to oppose Joe Biden. But the only caveat to add in there, I guess, is that he's basically saying, like, oh, if you're just sitting there doing nothing, not trying to push the campaign leftward, then that's irresponsible, is what he's saying. But to be fair, some people are saying, oh, it's misconstrued. It's kind of the same thing, basically. So he definitely got a lot of backlash from this. One of the examples here, prominent Bernie Sanders supporter, Kyle Kalinske. All right, he went on a little bit of a Twitter tirade over this. First tweet he sends is from not me, us to not us, him. Not particularly sure what that really means, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if that's particularly accurate, considering that's kind of like sort of an us to him type of thing. But I don't know. Other one says, what's irresponsible is giving away all of your leverage for absolutely nothing concrete. He could have handed a list of 10. He could have handed a list to Joe of 10 executive orders and said, all of these are all walk, but he didn't. Another one says, what's irresponsible is repeatedly telling reporters Biden could beat Trump as working people across the country put their last $20 in what little hope they had left in your campaign. So Kyle is not the only one who is pretty angry about this. Crystal Ball from The Hill TV also sending out a tweet saying that this is exactly why Bernie Sanders lost, was because he was sort of more in it for basically protecting the Democratic Party instead of his supporters and all of this kind of stuff. Now, my big thing is this. For me, it's like this, okay? And I'm going to talk about this more in a separate video, but to me, it's like, why is anybody surprised by his comments? I don't understand. You have to be new to Bernie Sanders to be surprised by his comments. Kyle Kalinske is not new to Bernie Sanders, all right? Bernie Sanders in 2016 did the exact same thing. He endorsed Hillary Clinton. He campaigned for her hard. He lost definitely some of his supporters by doing that, for sure. And a long time ago, he told us he's going to support the Democratic nominee. We already knew he was going to support the Democratic nominee. So why are you losing your mind over all of this stuff? We already knew Bernie Sanders was going to do this. So why are you losing your mind now? I don't really understand. Now, a lot of these criticisms are legit, and I want to go over them in a different video. But this is just, it's the expected. I don't know why people are losing their shit over this. And so now we're basically getting into this whole situation where Bernie Sanders supporters are going off on him. The people defending Bernie Sanders are people who hated Bernie Sanders, so they're obviously loser hypocrites. But even that Crystal Ball tweet that I just mentioned, apparently Brianna Joy Gray liked that tweet, his former press secretary. So that sort of signals to me that there's some sort of disconnect going on in the campaign. Or, obviously it's no more is the campaign. But, so some pretty crazy stuff going on here. Just total chaos in the Twitter sphere, progressive Twitter sphere, now that Bernie Sanders has said this. But let me know your thoughts on this down below.